In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to share with you what sexual shadow is and the importance of understanding it because it's impacting every day of your life. First of all, let's look at the word shadow. Shadow was made popular by Swiss psychoanalyst Carl Jung, and one of his most famous quotes gives a lot of information of what shadow is. And that quote is, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." What does conscious and unconscious mean? Basically, it means aware and unaware. So until you make something aware that you're not aware of, it will direct your life and you will call it fate, saying, "Oh, life was just this way. Life is just this way." Now, what we're talking about here are frameworks within our minds. So I'm going to talk about the mind and how we perceive reality for a moment. Don't worry, I'm going to bring it back to sexuality and sexual shadow. Now, each of us perceives reality subtly different. My favorite example is something as simple as a dog. Now, to me, I love dogs. I have had a golden retriever, I've had a pit bull. I have these memories with dogs, and it brings up certain feelings with those memories. Now, someone like my mother, she was bit by a dog. So when she thinks about a dog, it's a completely different thing in her mind as she perceives it. Our minds are programmed to experience reality based upon our circumstantial experiences, where you grew up, who you grew up around, your certain experiences, the people you were around, the town you were in, the language you speak. All of these are impacting the framework of your mind. Now let's hone in. I use dog as an example. Your unique experiences with sexuality, where your education came from, what your first intimate experiences were. If you were ever taken advantage of by an older person, or maybe you had an experience when you were younger that was mutual, but it was confusing. Your unique experience with sexuality gives you a unique framework of what it is. Now, ultimately, what happens is when we're young, our minds, they make up stories to make sense of what we're experiencing. Say you had an experience that your mind didn't have the information to put together the pieces with, it will just make up the story that makes the most sense. And the common story is, there must be something wrong with me, or this must be about me. Because to the mind, that just makes a ton of sense out of a lot of things that don't make sense. There must be something wrong with me. It must be about me. Ah, that makes sense. Whether or not you made up stories like that, there is a framework, once again, in the mind that connects to our belief systems. If you grew up around religion, religion has belief systems around sin, original sin, about, what you should and shouldn't do in relationship to sexuality, whether you're Christian, Catholic, Muslim, a lot of different belief systems. This framework of our mind is what Carl Jung is pointing to when he says the unconscious. And it directs our life because those belief systems, they impact our values, they impact our behaviors, they impact who we attract, they impact who we go towards, they impact who we move away from. And so, what we have an opportunity to do with sexual shadow, to find sexual shadow, we want to discover sexual shadow. That is the goal. What are my beliefs? What is my mental framework in connection to sexuality that I'm not currently aware of? Now, the best places to look is your sexual habits. Look at the way that you masturbate. Look at your relationship to pleasure. Look at your relationship to intimacy with another person. What is your experience with that? Look at when you lost your virginity. Look at your first long-term relationship. If you're a marriage, look at your how sexuality is in your marriage. Start to curiously look at yourself objectively. How do I behave in relationship to sexuality? This is the discovery of sexual shadow. The things that we're not aware of in relationship to sexuality. So shadow, the things we're unconscious of, the behaviors, the beliefs, the values that are so normal and familiar to us that we can't see them, that's how it's shadow. And what we're talking about here is in relationship to sexuality. Now, why it's extremely important with sexuality is because there's hardly any education when it comes to sexuality. It's extremely important. We're hardwired for pleasure. That's a survival mechanism. So we're hardwired to go towards pleasure. And yet in the world, it's like, oh, that's bad. Don't do that. It's taboo. Don't talk about it. There's hardly anywhere to talk about it. This is why it's so important to look for sexual shadow. This is a short one. I'm going to do more on this. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. If this supported you in any way, give it a like so more men see it, share it, subscribe. We'll see you in the future videos. And hey, get curious. Go looking for that sexual shadow.